Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Talk about a pregnant pause. That was that was quite a pregnant pause. My apologies. Thank you all so much for being here. Let me see who was here first today. Not that there's any competition. At least that's what Harry told Dr. Mate. Not that there's any competition. Let's see. Josephine Young was here first. Hello, hi, Baron. You have the sunken salty snake sinking. uh, we realize how much the Sussex squad is loved, supported, respected, and free. Thank you so much, Josephine Young. Okay. Hello, Panther, Maggie Howell, Lydia Washington, Brenda Phillips, Annie Bullard, Gwendolyn Daniels, Jennifer Clark, Lola Panther, Elaine Parker, Black Queen. Let's see, Adrian Burrow, Lola. Okay, I'm just gonna go all the way to the last one. I think I saw Church Nelly there. Ruth Lopez, hi. Mad World. Connie Bowmer. Okay. Let me see here. Sabrina Dixon, hello. Susie Q, hi Susie Q. Rick, hi Rick. Mary H. Okay, and a host of friends and others. Thank you so much. Hello to the hate listeners. Thank you so much for your hostility and discontent. Wouldn't be here without you. Hello, Anastasia Isabella. Carol Lunn. Okay. So anyway, did you guys all watch? Is Sherry Ware here? Uh, Church Nelly, you're praying. Hello, Maureen Reed. Um, Hi, Eva. Does that mean that she's here? You guys, did you hear anything? What's going on with Sherry Ware? Anyway, I'm scrolling back through the chats here. I don't. Let me see. Oh yeah. I know Lydia's ready to snatch somebody's wig off their head. Lydia's ready to snatch out some extensions. I don't blame you. That was anyway. Let me see here. Okay. So yeah, if there's something up with Sherry Ware, let me know. Okay. I know Church Nelly. I've been curious about that myself. And I haven't gotten any messages from her in my inbox, so I'm not sure what to think is going on. But Sherry Ware, if you can hear us, we are with you always. All right. So lip balm. What else? Humidifier is on. God, it's been dry in here. All right. So you guys, I had to run an errand earlier. I had to sending. I mean, return. What am I doing? I'm exchanging the old computer for the new one, not the big one, but the little one that I bought when Royal Sussex first started, with that little tiny, tiny screen that was woefully inappropriate for my needs. So I'm still using the old one, but I got a bigger one for backup. So that's been very helpful. So anyway, since I'm doing an exchange, the old for the new, I had to send that thing off so I can get my money back. Okay. All right, so let's get into it, you guys. So, Dr. Gabor Mate has made quite the impression on me. I thought he was magnificent. And of course, the tabloids could not wait to try to rip at his character. Now, I have to tell you guys, it was breathtaking to see the mobilization of the tabloid medias against Harry, against Dr. Mate, and of course, him being a baby of the Holocaust, um, and having survived the things that he has, from an infant. I think it would be very difficult to go after him like that. But I think he said he was 79 years old. He seems to know himself and know what the world is capable of. So I'm not going to worry about him. But I just have to say I was not prepared for the onslaught. So not only not only were they watching, but of course we expect they would, but they were given this play by play of everything said, and of course, they picked the room apart. Oh, this is what they call a country casual chic, mismatch furniture and beige colors. I mean, they they analyzed everything. I've even heard was where Harry was accused of being washed out, too much beige. They said. Um, well, whatever. Um, I thought it was a brilliant conversation. And for those of you who may have missed it, I'll just tell you, they really discussed everything about Spare. And I believe Dr. Mate has analyzed the book, not like one of those body language experts, but he analyzed it in a way where he could get to know Harry. And he brought up a list of things from the book, and I would say that the one part where I got really, really nervous was where Dr. Gabor, I'm sorry, Dr. Mati, said that he had something to say about the invasion of Afghanistan and the war in Iraq and such. And I was like, oh my God, okay, okay, okay. It wasn't so bad, but I I was like cringing at that time because I'm like, oh, please don't be hard on Harry. And Harry just said very simply that you're a soldier, you go to war, you do as you're told. And I'm going to really defend Harry with this one in that, as we all know and we have all heard so many times, that people who have survived war, who have actually fought in war, not just survived it, but I mean the people who have actually had to take up arms, they usually are the ones who are less likely to ever want to see any type of battle for themselves or anyone else. Now, if called upon, they will do what they will have to do. But or should I say, they'll do what is required. But as far as being like warmongers, that's usually politicians that are the biggest warmongers, but it's the actual soldiers that are more likely to not just speak out against war, but in a lot of cases that would vote against it if they had the opportunity. But as a young man who's trying to find his place in the world, they choose a young man for a very good reason, and that's because they know that they can create something in their own image and send you out there to enforce policy or nation build or whatever they ask of you. But I don't like war either, but I never take that out on the actual soldiers. The soldiers are sacrificing for their country and sacrificing that if they didn't go, some other young man would go in their place, some other young woman would go in their place. So it is a sacrifice. And whether you volunteer or whether you're conscripted, it is still something that requires sacrifice. Because when you have someone like even someone I love, a Bill Clinton, who gets a deferral as a student, or someone like a Donald Trump, who has had multiple deferrals, but for medical reasons, where he would go on to say that he had what ulcers and heel spurs and stuff, and yet all he talks about is his soldiers, my army of all things. So, but like I said, I cringed at that part of it. I'm glad that Harry was able to respond the way that he did. This is what was required. I've done my duty. There's a reason why they love someone from a broken home. Someone, and then Dr. Mate said, someone looking for structure. Yes. Okay. So, that was cool. But that was like my cringiest moment of the entire thing. I want to look at a couple of your comments as I go along here. Please tell me what you thought. Joyce Bell says, Harry was awesome and he has outgrown his family and he held his own with the doctor. He has become a very good mental health advocate. Joyce, I have to say, um, I realized that a long time ago that Harry was very well suited for a role like this, where he as okay, this I'm going to show you the moment when I realized Harry was very special, and that was when the Me You Can't See happened, and I saw him holding his own with Oprah Winfrey. She herself do not have the credentials as a PhD or anything like that, but she has quite a lived experience, and she's like Harry, has been in constant pursuit of truth wherever she could find it, and also understanding her childhood trauma, um, where she was the product of two parents who had a a connection under a tree one day, and then she came along, and while she had the love of her father, it was her mother that seemed rather distant, and she had this really you know strained relation with her mother. And so she spent a lifetime the rest of her mother's life trying to sort those things out. And even with her father, um where she received a lot of love from him, that wasn't always easy because he seemed to be somewhat easily influenced by some people around him later on in life, and so she had that to deal with. And then let's not forget that she had a brother and a sister that were both on crack and other things, perhaps, and they put a lot of pressure on her as she was trying to build her career. So Oprah had her share of things, and of course, as a young woman, as a child, she found herself. I'm trying to figure out the word I can use. Well, anyway, if you know her story, you know what happened to her. But I'm trying to not alert the algorithm. But yeah, she had been assaulted as a child. I'll say that, and that was a thing, and that was one of the reasons why she had this very strong connection with Dr. Maya Angelou, because Dr. Maya Angelou also had that experience and was able to speak a certain language that Oprah could understand. And so seeing Harry and Oprah, actually, let's see, where is it at? The Me You Can't See. There it is. To see the two of them working on this project, and I tell you, the Me You Can't See, just it gave me goosebumps. It gave me chills. There were parts where I cried. I thought it was just an incredible um, work that the two of them shared. And look at there. Executive produced by Oprah Winfrey and Prince Harry. I can never see that enough. Every time I see it, I always get proud just like Harry's my family. I get very proud when I see that, when I consider how far he's come in his life after the existence that he had within that institution. So thank you so much, Joyce, and thank you for your comment. Let me see here. Let's see. Baron, I agree with you. I love how Harry answered Dr. Mate. Yeah, he when you're honest, when you're honest, when you speak in truth and when you're honest, it doesn't come across as uncomfortable, especially when you're secure enough in your situation that you can just tell the truth and not worry about the consequences, not worry about who's unhappy. He's just very secure in himself, and that's a good thing. Um, that authenticity is what really carries him in these situations. Let's see here. Thank you very much, Marine Reed. Thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Still a bargain at just $4.99. Hello, Mo Shannon. Okay. Uh, well, I. Why would Rebel Wilson's mother ask Princess Megan, rude questions and also ask about where the Sussex kids are? After this rudeness, all Rebel can say is that Megan was not all smiley toward them. You know what? Let's just go ahead and jump into that because I can see that's um, you know, a thing. So I um, I did see that clip. Uh, let me see. I had a slide for that. Let me find that slide. But yeah, we can just bounce around if you guys want to. No problem. Is this it? No. Oh man, what happened to it? Wait. I got it. I got it. Nobody help me. I got this. Oh, there it is. So, in case you missed it, that is Rebel Wilson. There's John Oliver. It seems as though they shared the stage with what's his name, Andy Cohen, and Rebel Wilson. Let me see if I can play the sound bite of that. If I can find the sound bite, I will play that. By the way, thank you, Coco Ambrose, for your comment. But maybe you guys can hear the reason why Lydia is ready to snatch someone's extensions out of their hair. Oh man, let me see. Hmm. And then also we have a little bit of an update. Let me see. Okay, Rebel Wilson. This should be easy to find. I'm going to play the sound bite for you, and you guys can hear what she said, and then decide whether or not she deserves to keep her extensions. Oh, there we go. It's a very short one.
Telling me during the break, you introduced your mom to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Yeah, well, we were just talking royal family stuff in the break, and we went up to Santa Barbara, met Harry. Could not have been nicer.
Had you known them before? I would assume.
No, we just had a mutual friend in common, a polo player, and then we went up, but then Meghan was not as cool.
Oh, really?
It wasn't as naturally warm. But maybe, I don't know. And then my mum, being Australian, just asked her all these like slightly rude questions.
Oh,
and I was like,
what? What was she asking?
Where are your kids? And like, things like that. And I'm like, Mom, don't ask her that.
Well, then maybe that's why she was.
Maybe that's why she was like, who are these annoying convicts from Australia?
But Harry was lovely.
Yeah, he was actually lovely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you were telling me during the break.
Okay, I hope you guys were able to hear that. I had a problem with that yesterday. Mama Jane, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, so I hope you guys could hear that. Rebel Wilson decided that she they were talking about royal stuff during the break, right? And as they were talking about royal stuff, as she says, um, she mentioned the fact that she and her mother went up to Santa Barbara. Now, I don't know what the occasion was, but they went to Santa Barbara and they met Harry, and he couldn't have been nicer. So immediately she omitted Meghan from the start. And then when she finally mentions Meghan, she says Meghan seemed to be didn't seem to be naturally um, uh, nice to her. Yeah, more or less that she was unnatural is what she was saying. Let me try that one more time. As much as I've heard it.
Introduce your mom to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle?
Yeah, well, we were just talking royal family stuff in the break, and we went up to Santa Barbara, met Harry. Could not have been nicer.
Had you known them before, I would assume?
No, we just had a mutual friend in common, a polo player, and then we went up, but then Meghan was not as cool.
Oh,
It
really?
wasn't as naturally warm.
Okay, Meghan was.
I don't know.
Meghan was not as cool. She wasn't as naturally warm. And then she goes on to say that her mother asked Meghan about her children. Where are your children? Okay, and I think someone just said this had to do with a polo match. And I did hear her say something about they had a mutual friend that played polo. Yes, thank you, Lorna Williams. What a stupid woman. Rebel's mother was asking a security question when Harry and Meghan were out. Is she nuts? Well, considering everything that has happened, why in the world would you ask them about their children? Why would you ask a mother who suffered the loss of a child because of hostility and stress and pressure? You could have just simply not asked. If they weren't there, they weren't there. That's it. And of course, I'm not advocating that, oh, everyone should tiptoe around the Sussexes. I'm sure they don't want that. But at the same time, you obviously know they've been through a whole lot. And don't let your curiosity overwhelm your judgment, where you would ask a very deeply personal question like that. If I recall, someone asked Princess Diana a question like that when she was in New York one night, in a crowd of people giving a speech, to cause her embarrassment, knowing knowing that she did not. And this person, of course, had an English accent, the same way they always seem to put Meghan on blast whenever she's out and about. And Meghan, what is it like to be a charlatan? This person, I don't doubt, was planted to do the same thing to Princess Diana. And if you guys have never seen that video, it is awful. But it happened. And so, of course, being a royal woman, as Meghan is just something that I think should be avoided. And I'm not sure what her mother's intentions were. I'm not sure what her intentions are for bringing this up in the first place. But and then also, let us not forget that Rebel Wilson hosted the. Did she host uh, the what is that award? The BAFTAs. Didn't she host them twice? And the first joke she came out with was one where she brings up Harry and she brings up Andrew, putting them in league with one another for whatever reason, as if Harry in some kind of way compares to Andrew, or if Meghan in any way compares to Andrew. And so, knowing all of these things, maybe Harry is more polite and forgiving and considerate. But if you know someone has been bad mouthing your family, a polite and cordial greeting is about all that you may have coming at that point, especially when Meghan has been the focus of hate and hostility at a greater level than Harry has been since since they first went out together, since they were married, since they left Narnia, is always the woman who is the one who suffers the worst of it. And then, as Harry said himself, all you have to do is just throw in there race, and you have quite a terrible scenario going on there. So um, I don't trust her. I think she's she's trying she depends on her snarky humor to fit into situations, and yeah, just oh my god, I was like, oh, and then of course when the press, if and when, or they probably have gotten a hold of this, you know how it's going to come out. The headline is going to be a billboard all over the place saying how nasty Meghan was. It won't even mention her mother probably until like the end of the story, if at all. If at all. So that's one of the reasons why this is um, just very clumsy, reckless, and unnecessary for her to even bring them up. I mean, is your life so shallow that you have to bring up Harry and Meghan in order to seem interesting? Apparently, she could have saved that one. Black Queen said she should have just shut her nasty lips. Now she is feeding into the, there you go, feeding into the gutter narrative about Meghan being nasty and cold. Exactly. As soon as I saw that, I'm just like, oh my God, here we go. Because you already know the headline. And what's bad about this, I must have like some kind of distant form of PTSD where when I hear something like that, I'm writing the headline in my head in the voice of the tabloid press as a matter of trying to prepare myself. That's what this has done to me. I've already written a headline in my head. All I do is wait and see how they interpret it and how much worse can they make a situation be based on the few words that just came out of Funny Girl's mouth. Lorna, thank you, Black Queen. Lorna Williams says, "What a stupid woman Rebel's mother is." Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I need to. I stop this thing sometimes. Francilia Mosley says, "Rebel better tread lightly after this BS. She who is about to be outed by the tabloids and who has said racist things before." So I'm learning. So I'm learning. All of that, of course, is alleged because I ain't seen it yet. But so I have been reading about that today. And Miranda Rios says, my sister said maybe the reason Charles did not accept the Sussexes giving up their titles when they offered, when they left, is because Charles wants to publicly take them to humiliate Harry and Meghan. Yeah, yeah. That seems like a lot of foresight, but until we know better, I will accept that as a likely scenario, is that he wants to appear strong and take them himself. Okay. So thank you so much, Miranda. Thank you, of course, for being a member. Uh, that heifer is lying. Well, thank you for that. It's always wrinkly old or old looking white women that keep having issues with Meghan. That seems to be a demographic that has been targeting the Duchess of Sussex, but of course, not a majority of any particular group, but it's just I think it's a particular age, and of course, it usually is an older white woman that makes up the core of the hostility toward Megan. But if we recall, as I believe it was Christopher Bosey pointed it out, is that a few hate accounts have gone a long way. And then, of course, that feeds into a greater sector of the population. And even Harry said that his brother was actually speaking to him like he was one of the tabloid reporters. He's like, "Why are you talking like this?" Remember that when William um, burst into another man's house and attacked him about his wife? Harry said, "You're starting to talk like the tabloids," and people, this stuff is taken in, and those headlines like Megan cold and nasty, that is how people will remember a person. That is how people will view a person after the constant gaslighting. That's why the press repeatedly say that the Sussexes are not loved, or that the Sussexes are, that any of their projects are failing, because it's not that it's true, but they want us to believe that it's true, so that way the the very primal reaction every time that they see the Sussexes, I'm sorry, every time anyone sees the Sussexes, they want us to go to a very dark place and assume something terrible about them. It is a very effective way to destroy a person, and that is what you, me, the Sussex squad, that's what we all have been pushing back against. And of course, not only for the Sussexes, but for other people, in particular, the black women that seem to be the main targets of the tabloid media. The tabloid media, they hate women. Even the women hate women. And even the, as Sussex Love put it, old, white, wrinkled, whatever, even they tend to hate all other women. They have that in common. Carolyn Flack had people who consumed hostility against her, who consumed gossip and hatred, and they allowed her to be dehumanized to a point where she didn't feel like she had a place in the world anymore. And then Harry's words, if you throw race in there, then it's that much worse. I wouldn't, and well, let's see, what was it? Madeline Albright said that there's a special place in hell for women who do not support other women. There is a special place in hell. And so Rebel goes there and she sees Harry and she's, doing a dance, I suppose. But Megan, here comes the woman of color banking the corner to greet me. Oh my goodness, there she is. I can't help but think that the bias, the racism, whatever it is, I cannot help but think that she has some hostility that is so entrenched and so deep inside of her for other women in general, and Megan in particular, that she's probably would be in denial if you ask her about it. She would probably deny it if you ask her about it, but it's there. But it's there. And she even said herself, these convicts from Australia, she has a low opinion of herself. She has a very low opinion of herself. So could you imagine her trying to uplift and make herself seem superior to someone else, that she runs around degrading and speaking down and speaking bad of people whenever she gets a chance to do so? She has a very, very nasty, sarcastic way of dealing with other people, and especially with that platform that she has. It's quite disturbing. It's quite disturbing. I feel like if you are a professional comedian or a comedic actress or something like that, there ought to be another conversation that you could have besides tearing other people down. But there doesn't seem to be one. She just has that one focus, and that's it. And it's probably because of how she feels about herself. So thank you so much for that. Melissa Johnson says, but she was being disrespectful about her before meeting her on TV and on an award show. So I am not going to be naturally nice to someone who has been disrespecting me live on television before you ever met. Right, exactly, Melissa Johnson. Exactly. Here comes the enemy is the way I would look at it. And so while I would be polite enough to say hi and whatever, am I going to cozy up to you? Am I going to feel free and open to say whatever I need? Well, one of the good reasons why you wouldn't want to is because look at it right here with Andy Cohen of all people. Andy Cohen, I think, has been more considerate of Megan than Rebel Wilson has, and that's all he does is to help people degrade themselves and one another with his television productions. But even he seemed to realize that there is just that right there. I'm not going to mess with it. Um, and it's not to say that he hasn't gone there in the past. I really don't know, but he himself has a reputation. But I think he handled that very well. And he's like, okay, well, if your mother's asking these questions, is it any wonder why someone would react the way that you say she has? So thank you, Melissa Johnson. Let me see. Black Queen, her mother is from Australia. That says it all. Oh, Church Nelly, you don't bite your tongue, do you? I appreciate that. Mary H says, why would you ask someone where their kids are? Lydia, there's a line of us to pull her, to pull a. Listen, you guys. I'm not advocating that anybody should do that, but I can see that's caught on. Oh man, it was at one of Harry's polo games. Rebel also spoke ill, that is, of Megan on the British show she hosted. Really? Now I didn't see that. I know that she hosted. Is that the BAFTAs that you're speaking of, or was it some other occasion? Okay, let me see here. I bet she was in a group of 83 white women who has been on social media with the fake accounts trolling her and making threats and spreading hate. Well, we don't know that to be true, but I do think that as what's his name, Chris Bosey said, that those 83 accounts or whatever the number is had quite a reach and was able to find company, especially when we found out that some of the royal rodents were actually having conversations with these people and promoting, and even some of the things that they wrote after the fact seem to have been like they have received guidance from these people. But let me show you something that I thought was really interesting. Okay, so Rebel Wilson says, well, we were just talking at the break. So at the break, before they came back to this part, and I'm going to play the beginning of that again.
Wow, you were telling me during the break you introduced your mom to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle?
Yeah, well, we were.
Okay, so while we were at the break, you introduced your mom to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Now, at the very beginning of that, I think it's 45-second clip, they opened with someone, I suppose she was a pastry chef or something. I didn't see the whole thing, so I don't know exactly what the format was about, but I'll show you. Sister right here, as soon as they came back from the break, the camera zoomed in on her before it panned in on the group of them. And I don't know who she is. I don't know what her story is, but I can only imagine Sister Girl was sitting up there taking in an earful, and she just you see the way she's looking, right? She is kind of looking like, uh-huh. So whatever was said at this point was probably so much worse that my sister right there is looking like, uh-huh, uh-huh. Tell them what you said. Go ahead and tell them what you said. Let me see here. That was rude of Rebel's mom. The Sussexes are very security conscious naturally because of the pressure and scrutiny they're under. Exactly. Exactly. That's why I said it was just something that should not have been brought up, especially if you're out trying to have a good time. And of course, anyone like in a public profile or stature of the Sussexes, you're going to feel very vulnerable where your children are concerned. And the just imagine after the incident in South Africa with the space heater catching on fire. Well, they were away at that time too. So Megan probably has some terrible flashbacks of that moment. And if you're at an event and someone says, Mom, your kids, blah, 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 and then you find out that your child was in danger, well, any place you go, especially a stranger, asking you about your children, then of course she's not on a first name basis with Rebel's mom. She doesn't know Rebel, not to mention doesn't know her mom. So here you come asking me about my children. Are you insane? I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And it's not even anything to do with me. And I can feel how stressful that would be for a stranger to ask me, where are your children? I don't care how polite the conversation. I don't care how far they were into a conversation. What are you asking me about my kids for? Let me see. And the question a mother asks is the same as the color of Archie's skin. I have been asked that often from racist people. Okay, thank you very much for that. And GJ says Harry is very protective of his wife. If he heard that lady being rude to Megan, he would not be all friendly and nice to them. This story sounds very fishy. Well, we can't possibly know how that evolved. And um, we could only go by what we're hearing from someone who is a known agitator. So it would be very difficult to really understand the context in which everything was said. And context does matter. And so we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that Funny Girl is speaking for everyone that was present when that exchange happened rather. And so we don't have anyone else's side of the story. Sonia Johnson says, Baron, the question was asked because the idiots already say Megan did not have the babies. She's wearing the moon bump. Yeah, and I'm not going to even assume that someone is as tacky as Rebel and her mother, who I don't know. I'm not even going to assume that that's what they had in mind. But because of how we feel about the Squatties, about the Sussexes. We're very, very protective of them, as well we should be, because let's face it, they have the whole institution, a very wealthy, powerful, 1,000-year-old institution, as well as the very intrusive, very powerful British media, and along with that, you have the Australian media, you have too much of the American media that is, carrying the water or drinking the Kool-Aid for the royal family. And so we should be very protective, and we should listen very closely to what is said and watch what is done and evaluate it such as it is. But then we also have to be careful to remember the context of things. So um, again, we're only hearing this from her, and it may have just been her own skewed perception or discomfort because of the things that she said in the past. Maybe Meghan was absolutely delightful, and we don't know for certain how the exchange went about. But if you have been speaking ill of someone, of course, if they don't run up and embrace you with open arms, then maybe you'll feel like, oh, she wasn't very nice, So we have to be open to all of that. We have to factor into it all of those things. But based on a preponderance of evidence and her, historic behavior, then we can only assume that she was being tacky. And yeah, and so until we know better, I'm just going to lean toward she has a bit of a bias walking in the door. And by the time she met Meghan, her mind had been made up for years, as far as I'm concerned. And she probably had a certain attitude that was probably noticeable or may have been noticeable. But like they say, when somebody don't like you. Australians asking Meghan questions about her kids. No, no, for me. No wonder Meghan put her guards up. Exactly. Exactly. Um, Starting with, you've been speaking trash about me in the past. Why should I feel relaxed enough to embrace you as I would embrace any other stranger that I come across? But because I know of these things, because you see me as the butt of a joke, there is too much that the Sussexes have to lose in comparison to what they have to gain by allowing nasty, negative people to be around them, and to not watch what they're saying and doing when you're not around. You have too much to lose. The Sussexes have work to do. They have work to do, starting with their children. And then from there, they have projects in the works. They have major business, major contracts. There's a lot they have to do. And the other important thing that for them is security. And part of our security is public perception. How the public perceive us is part of our security. And so you cannot take those things too lightly. I don't know that anybody's threatening Rebel and her mama, but there's been threats against the Sussexes. I'm pretty sure there's probably been threats against Doria, and there's been threats against the Sussex children. So you can't just be very blasé about it and have a good laugh. It's not like that. It's not like the Sussexes are presidential candidates. They're philanthropists, they're humanitarians, but they're not running for public office. They don't deserve that. Let me see. Charles says Rebel is a loudmouth and was taking cues from their Aussie TV vile platforms. They go everywhere to cause problems, look for media talking points. Yeah, and if you notice something, Joe, well, I'm sure you have, every time a British journalist that well, a tabloid media journalist, every time they get an American in front of them, the first thing they want to ask, like Piers Morgan, well, I got to ask you about Meghan and Harry. You know, you have to. And I saw him, Ben Shapiro. I saw a clip of him and Ben Shapiro. Um, Ben, I have to ask you about Meghan and Harry, this Meghan and Harry situation. Do you really have to ask, or are you compelled to do this for your ratings? Do you really have to ask? Legs, I think you had a super chat and I'm moving so slow. I'm sorry. Let me just skip. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of comments. There it is. Sorry about that, the rest of you guys. Rebel just cloud chasing. Doesn't she remember the headlines that she got? Maybe she is giving some headlines to try to get good press herself. Legs, I have no doubt about that. It is very calculating for most people that are trying to find their way back, like Megyn Kelly. They're trying to find their way back, like Piers Morgan. And when they're trying to climb out of the hole that they have fallen into, the easiest out is Rachel Meghan Markle, Princess Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. That's the easy way out of their situation, is to, what do I always say? It's like gourmet cooking. Just a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, and you got yourself a gourmet meal. Well, it's the same way with Harry and Meghan. You add a couple of tablespoons of Sussex, and suddenly it seems like it comes from a 4-star restaurant. It is a Michelin star rated restaurant. Isn't that something? You could take the worst food and make it better just by adding a couple of tablespoons of Harry and Meghan, and then all of a sudden it whets everybody's appetite. So yeah, thank you so much for that, Legs. And I don't doubt that there is some calculation going on with that. Let's see here. Let me see. Well, she's out now. Her and her partner welcomed the child recently. Someone should ask her where's her kids. Oh, I didn't know she made it with anybody. Let's see. Julie Grant says, "Good evening. Ever since Harry married Meghan, everyone has something to say and put their 2 cents worth in." Yeah, it's true. It's true, and I just, it's incredible. You don't hear American reporters asking about the Sussexes all the time. Now, around the time of the marriage and such, I mean, you do have some reporters that, you know, when the Sussexes were married, it was obvious everybody was talking about it. But you cannot have an American uh, have an interview with certain people unless you bring up Harry and Meghan. This is not something that they ask for. Let me, I'm going to take just a break away from this for a second, because I wanted to just share a couple of things with you guys where Harry is concerned. Harry, thank you, by the way, Julie Grant. Harry had pictured himself, this is the way he saw life. He was going to meet someone, and as he says it, he said it so many ways in different interviews, and I don't want to minimize it by putting it in a way that it sounds weird, but he said that she checked a lot of boxes in his life. So check a lot of boxes. Okay, first of all, he could not stop thinking about her. She was absolutely brilliant. It started with a look, and then they met, and then they realized that they had so much in common. How they looked at the world, the way they wanted to live the rest of their lives. And yes, we want to start a family. Nothing wrong with that. And then Harry has a chance to do something that he dreamed of, that he would do his royal duty, he would serve his country, he could be a part of the institution that on so many occasions alienated him to a point where he was othered and made to feel less than, and the butt of the jokes and the buffoon. And it really broke my heart when Dr. Mate had asked him about all the occasions where he was, I don't remember the exact words, but essentially that he was told that he wasn't good enough, that Harry may have felt that he wasn't a whole and complete person. I mean, that's heartbreaking. And then even before meeting Meghan, Harry had to tell people about this infection that he has, where any woman that I meet, I will infect her. And he used that word infect. I didn't want to infect her with my life, but I would infect her, and that her family would have people sifting through their garbage cans and trying to listen to their phone calls, following them, tailing them, snapping their photos, not just the girl that he's dating, but the entire family. This is how we got Scamantha, Thomas Sr. and Jr., because of that infection. And so, what was Harry to do? Never to love, never to start a family? I mean, I think that the royal family was like, yeah, that's the answer. Don't ever do anything significant in your life. Don't ever pursue a family, and maybe you won't be happy, but nobody's going to bother you. Uh, so there you have it. And then take a look here. So they're entering Westminster Abbey. The kids, I remember this moment. As a matter of fact, these are not photos from the media. I took screenshots. I took screenshots. And I actually did that because at this point, I'm getting to know Meghan. I'm happy for Harry. It was all too exciting for me. And so I wanted to make sure that I had this moment because I was so proud as an African American that a descendant of slaves like myself is suddenly that high up on the aristocratic scale. And she's going to do what all of us may have wanted to do, is to prove that we can be in any situation and thrive. That's the way I was raised. I would turn on television shows just because, oh, they got somebody black on there. Because I wanted to see a black person in those certain things. I mean, yeah, it's kind of bad that because of racism, I feel like I have to prove things as a black person, but that's just the way I was raised. Is let's show them what we can do, and maybe racism will go away. Now I know that's naive, but that is just my reaction to these situations. And representation matters. And so seeing her in this situation, being applauded by people, the kids, when they walked by, I'm not making this up, the kids were so excited to see Meghan, all of these little children. And just imagine what that must have meant for any of the black children that saw this moment. And one of the girls was literally fanning her face because she was so flush with excitement. So Harry wasn't looking for someone biracial, not anybody that was black in any kind of way. He just wanted a wife. He wanted someone who could share these moments with him instead of being the odd man out. And so there he is. He is happy as he can be and proud, so proud. And they took that away from him. They could not stand to see him happy. They could not stand to see him thriving. And least of all, we can't let this black woman from America, we can't let her come in here and show the world how easy this is. No, no, we can't have that. I mean, how much more could they have tried to ruin his life? And in the process, they're willing to take down a perfect stranger. She's just collateral damage because the institution obviously has to stay as white as possible. It has to benefit from the remnants of empire, the remnants of the slave trade, and all the wealth that was gathered from that. That was necessary, and is still necessary, obviously. And those two people in front of them could care less what it looks like. They could care less how bad it hurts, so long as they get to stay on top. And isn't it interesting? You have two of the most able-bodied royals anywhere of any royal household, two of the most able-bodied people walking behind two of the worst characters on 2 feet. Two of the worst. Just two of the most miserable, insecure, hateful, and they don't even like each other. And they have to walk behind them. Yeah, good. I'm glad that they're not a part of that anymore. I'm glad that they don't have to walk behind them. I pray to God I never see any curtsies to anyone else in that institution ever. I don't want any of it. I don't want any of it. And if going to the coronation means that they get the big money shot, the curtsy, then I definitely don't want them to have anything to do with that. That is just I don't want it. I don't want it for them. I don't want it for a permanent record. I just don't want it. So anyway, let me get back to some of your comments here. But what a nasty bit of business! What an absolutely nasty bit of business! The whole thing. They're awful people. Awful people. The institution, the Cambridges, Charles and Camilla. Camilla is the absolute worst. I'm just going to say it. She's the absolute worst. And I double down on everything I've ever said about her because she is an awful, awful individual. And you can only dehumanize a person that has humanity in the first place. And since she's lacking that, I don't feel like that there's anything wrong with it because she's not a human being. She is the monster that Princess Diana said she was. She is all of those things and then some. What a awful awful person she is. Oh God. Anyway, let me get back to your comments. Okay, and someone just shared a photo with me. I'll probably have to do that tomorrow since I don't have that medium on my computer. It's only on my phone, so maybe I can share it in a little while. But yeah, so I saved this moment because it meant a lot to me as a Black person. I was excited. I was happy. It was like any other occasion in my childhood when I saw somebody Black on TV, and I just got excited. I feel like, oh boy, I feel included. I feel heard. I feel seen. And they just took all of that away. They took all of that away. They couldn't let that thing happen to people of color. They couldn't. So if the whole institution disappears tomorrow, good for them. I would be very pleased if that happened. And it's amazing because I never thought I would feel that way because of how excited I was about all things English. And it's amazing because and I'm going to England. I'm going to see Buckingham Palace, and at this point I'm like, screw it, screw it, the hell with them. Anyway, thank you so much, Legs. Let me see here. Get to a couple more of your comments here. Let me see. Still the roly-poly fat girl in her head. Rebel sucks. Only movie she was in was Pitch Perfect. Rebel is not funny. She's no Monique or Chung. She's just a bit comic. They got lucky. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I heard the jokes that she told at the BAFTA Awards that on that one occasion, and I'm just like, okay. You know, guys, I'm not a big fan of a certain level of crude humor. I was surprised. I'm like, oh, that's all she's got, huh? Let's see here. Legs says, let's just say that she wasn't at Ellen Oprah's. Okay, thank you very much for that. Let me see here. Joy Henry, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. I realize I've been talking quite a while, and I see there's a lot of comments that have. H Knight says white women need to feel like black women are not desirable to white men, and we should be the last ones on the totem pole. So far, Harry I'm sorry. So far, Harry to be so into Meghan is messing their little minds up. Yeah, I believe it's a lot to that. I really do. I believe that is one component of a much larger issue that's going on. Is that Harry begs the question, what's wrong with me, or what's wrong with us? When certainly that wasn't the point. The whole point was he met someone exceptional. And let's face it, Meghan has been a very exceptional person. And the thing is, she did not go through life trading on her looks. She likes to be pretty. She likes to dress up. She likes to have a date night with her husband. But as we've seen from the docuseries, and as we've seen from her entire life, she doesn't have that kind of vanity where she doesn't go into the world where should I say, where she can't go into the world barefaced, that she can't go into the world with her hair. And I think the whole idea of the messy bun, and I can't speak for Meghan, I don't know, but I think for her is it's like Harry's beard is to remind him that this is I'm a different person from that person that the institution crapped all over. You know, I'm grown up and I know myself and I'm free. That beard represents his freedom. And for Meghan, the messy bun, that represents a certain level of humility. She does not want people to feel as though she's unapproachable. Even on her wedding day, she was trying her best to have a very basic gown with clean contemporary lines that will look just as fresh tomorrow as they would have 30 years ago. That's her comfort level, is let's just put something structurally um, beautiful together, and that's the wedding dress. It's nothing flashy about her. Her simplicity and her elegance are one and the same. She's very very basic and simplistic in the way that she presents herself, but her beauty and her elegance and that light that comes from her is what makes her dazzle around most people. That's it, you know. And just like on many occasions when people have met her, you always hear them say, I've seen her on television, but she's so much more beautiful in person. And you see the photos, it's not because she's gone that extra mile. That's just who she is. That's who she is. So how did it go from, let me see this. It went from, okay, where are we here? Let me find this. Okay. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to leave it right here. So how did it go from this, Megan out, doing good works and stuff like that? How does it go from there to a situation where you would have someone like a Rebel Wilson say what the tabloid says? Rebel Wilson is basically carrying the water of the tabloids and probably was in her own heart at the same time. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's just who she is cruel, mean, spiteful, and hateful, and nasty and negative. But how does it go from that to Megan out doing her good works, and then you have someone like a Rebel Wilson on television saying that you're not naturally warm and friendly. I really liked Harry, but well, she wasn't naturally warm and friendly. How does it go from that to this situation? Unless there is some ulterior motive involved, or unless there's just an innate dislike, an unbiased racism, right? What is it? Unconscious bias or racism? There's something at play. There's something at play. I don't know her well enough to say that she's a racist. However, it's kind of like with the last president we had. If you find yourself constantly in these same situations, people are going to start to see you for who you are, or at least the way you present yourself to the world. And I do believe that someone else on the show saw it too. Someone else from the look was just like, uh-huh. Now, again, I don't know her. I don't know exactly what happened before the Rebel story. But when they come back from break, which is where the clip starts, that's the look she had. And this is the person she was looking at. Huh. And look at John Oliver. Look at John Oliver. And even Andy Cohen, I didn't catch that image, but Andy Cohen just kind of tilted his head down as though he was looking over his glasses. Well, if your mother said that, can you blame her? So everybody seems to have something positive. I'm pretty sure John Oliver is just neutral to the whole royal family. Um, Andy Cohen has had a chance to talk to Meghan, so I'm pretty sure that he's probably on a positive curve at the moment. But the only person that seems to feel that way is Rebel. I wonder why. I wonder why. Uh, thank you. Thank you. She's trying to call Meghan uppity in a roundabout way. You know what? That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. Uh, Let me take a look at some of your comments here. But yeah, that makes so much sense. Okay. Yeah, I'll leave it right there for now. This is from an old slide that I had, but I'll leave it right there because I think we all rather like that photo of Meghan. So, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm talking so much right now and I'm missing so many of your comments. And I don't know, maybe we'll go back to Dr. Gabor or Mati another time. Cookies and Cream says if the racist tabloids try to run with the um, idiotic story from this vile woman, remember we have social media and can always counterattack their negative narratives with receipts. Yeah. And isn't that the beauty of social media, is that it does give you a chance to respond, to these things. And I'm so glad that the Sussexes have not been responding to these numerous negative attacks over and over again. They say very little. Meghan hasn't even been out in public for the longest time, and when she comes back, well, I mean, all of a sudden she's dominating the news again, which of course is what we expected. And I guess because of that, you'll have someone appear on um, Andy's show and decide, better hitch my wagon to this one before it rolls out of the station. I better hitch my I better hitch my wagon to this one. This is a chance for me to get some free publicity. Maybe. I'm just guessing, but that appears to be the way it has evolved. Is just an opportunity for free publicity. Oh man, what a way some people have. Okay, let me see here. Miranda Rios said, "Did Rebel Wilson think that Meghan would be nice to someone who insults her family? We Americans don't play that crap. We are not about to not about turning the other cheek. We are about slapping." Okay. Thank you, Miranda Rios. Let me see here. Oh, thank you so much, Noreen Lovelock. Thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. And Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker. Happy Saturday to you, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Let me see here. I'm just trying to get myself caught up. I know I'm missing a lot, but let me see. I think I have Lydia. You have a super chat, don't you? That's what I'm looking for. Must be something important. Let me see. Oh my goodness, all these comments. Hey B10. Hey B10. All these comments. Oh my goodness, they go on forever. Oh, let me see here. Church Nelly is cutting up. I see that. And oh, there we are. Wow, that took a long time to get there. Baron, the Rebel Wilson got us riled up, but Dr. Mate was too awesome to not cover. Share your thoughts, please. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's get back to that then. All right. And with that, I am caught up to everybody's comments. So, and not just my thoughts, I want to hear what you guys have to say about Dr. Mate. Okay. Let me go back to those slides just to get our minds situated. Okay. Yes, and if you guys please want to share your input about that. So thank you, B10. Thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you, Lydia, for the super chat. There we go. So yes, as I was saying, I really enjoyed the conversation. Harry seemed very relaxed most of the time. He was a little fidgety here and there, but I think when Dr. Mate had the, I don't know if Harry knew that the diagnosis was coming, but oh, who's got 13 months? Now, see, I'm not looking at that screen. Oh, B10, 13 months. Thank you very much. Oh, now I see it. Yes, 13 months. Thank you. Wow, who's got that much member? You know, it could easily have been more than that. Someone kept asking me about why don't you start a membership, and I just never got around to it. But I think by now y'all understand my ways. Okay, so let me take a look at my very few notes that I have. Okay, the book was an act of service. So Harry did say that the book, and I believe that the book is not only an act of service, the book has not only become a go to reference for anyone suffering grief like that from their childhood, but also it speaks to people that have been through war or suffering from PTSD. It really, really speaks to that. And I'll just tell you guys, if you didn't get a chance to see it, uh, I the conversation revolved around exactly what you see on the mantelpiece, and that, of course, is Spare. And then thrown in there as an extra added, tool for anyone who may need help or considering exploring their mental fitness. You have Dr. Gabor Mate's book, which did I have a slide for that one? Let me see if I have the slide for it. Put that there for a second. And I did put a slide up for, no, I think I got the wrong book. I have this one. That's not the one that's up there. Normal, abnormal. Uh, oh, that came out 2022, did it? How to restore a healthy balance in childhood relationships. Okay, so he has authored quite a few books. I guess that's the point, is that he had authored quite a few books. Okay, so I'll go back here. And first of all, how many people actually watched? So it says the Sussexes as a couple was MIA for 2 months, and it was driving the tabloids crazy. From the time they reappeared, it was like a feeding frenzy at the zoo. Yeah, it was like feeding time at the zoo. It was. Okay. All right. So now, hold on a second here. Let me take a look. Okay, no, not that. Not that. Let me take a look at something else. Okay. Now, all right. So Dr. Mate, I love when he mentioned that well, what he brought, I don't remember the exact words, but what he brought out of Harry was the fact that Harry felt like he was very different from the rest of his family. And that I wouldn't call it imposter syndrome, but it kind of, well, no, that happens from success, but where he felt different from his family, and he struggled with the idea that he didn't feel like and as we all know, Harry has said over the years that he would rather do something else. Also, he brought up, it was weird hearing um, Dr. Mate mention Tig and, oh gosh, what is the guy's name? Tig and, is it JT? Whatever. But no, but his family in Africa. Dr. Mate brought that up himself. And I thought that was very interesting. I almost felt kind of put on the spot for Harry, even though that's why they were there, was to discuss his book. But it just made me very anxious. It made me very anxious. Oh, B10 says, I'm sorry about that. I found Baron shortly after finding Tina and Michelle. Oh, very cool. Marine Reed says, Harry told Dr. Mate that my wife saved me. I was stuck in this world and she was from a different world, and that helped draw me out. Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, confession. I did miss the first 20 minutes. I was asleep. I did miss the first 20 minutes, and I was gonna set my alarm. And when I Okay, 30 minutes because I had to actually log in. So I did miss the first 30 minutes. Pam Porter says, it never ceased to amaze me how it's only certain people who have issues with Meghan being unfriendly, cold, bullying. I wonder what traits these outliers have in common. Um, what traits do they have in common? Karens. My apologies to anyone named Karen, but Karens. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, that seems to be one of the traits. Let's see here. So, death of a parent, divorce, conflict in family. He diagnosed Harry with ADHD. Um, yeah, he did. He diagnosed Harry with ADHD, and Harry, with everything that, all of the things that Dr. Mate said about that, Harry eventually said that we're all on a spectrum. And he said at different times in our lives, we may find ourselves at a different portion or different place in that spectrum, which I believe that too. He said that Harry, well, did Harry say it or did he say, well, he said that he believed that Harry had suffered terrible depression. And Harry was very quick to, I guess, kind of remind him, in a certain way that I don't know. I don't think Harry is accepting is as accepting of depression. I mean, grief, of course, yes, but depression. I don't think that he's comfortable. I don't think that Harry was comfortable with a label of depression. Not that he's depressed now, but that he had suffered bouts of depression. I think he accepts it, but I don't think he sees himself. From what I hear from Harry, I don't believe I heard him look at depression as playing a major role in his life. And there's grief and then Harry had spoke about his experience in Africa, the grieving process, the way that some, um, I guess, I don't know if he said tribes or people or families. I think he said families. That some families, the way they dealt with depression, I'm not depression, but grief, was that they would sit around for 3 days and they would literally roll, um, you know, with roll on the floor with grief and agony and pain about their loss, and then it's easier for them to, I guess, move forward from that. And I suppose he was saying pretty much, why don't we all, experience grief like that, as opposed to his grief, which was basically 2 weeks of everybody trying to act normal, and then we're going to send you back to boarding school, or you're off to boarding school. That was grief. And by the way, when you get there, no one's allowed to talk about it. So that was pretty bad. Let's see. Ruth Lopez says this probably shocked Megan to be asked that. It's almost vaguely threatening, as stressed as Megan has been about her baby's safety. That could have been scary until she realized it was just rudeness. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, if you look at the situation of being out, and someone did send me a photo. Let me see if I'm able to share that with you guys. But oh, okay, okay. It through the cloud, it moved it to another place where I could actually share it. Thank goodness. Let me see if I could do that, and then you guys can see. You can see better the situation, I hope. Let's see if I can make this work. Okay. So take that away. Then I'll try to bring it up over here and let's hope it works. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to start using the new PC because this one is only going to take me so far. uh, Nope. Nope. Okay. Give it a second. Give it a second. It's loading. This one just has such a big screen. And I'm just so used to sitting in a certain place when I'm working. So that's why I tend to favor this one. Okay, no go. Let me try something else. 1 second, you guys. Sorry about the delay. And also, please don't forget to hit that like button. Like, share, and subscribe. Okay, so that didn't work. So let me do this. I'm going to share it with you, but I'm gonna have to do something I haven't done in quite some time. You're going to hear an echo, but it at least will take me where I need to go. Hello? There we go. Okay, I'm back and I should be able to share it now. Here we go. So on that day when there's the troublemaker and her mom. There they are. All right, so that must have been that polo event. It does appear that they're on a polo ground somewhere, and I'm going to assume the one in plaid is the mom, and there's Rebel on the left side. I think I got that right. Yeah, I think that's Rebel on the left. So I guess that was the day when the question was asked. And then you can see on the right where she has lost a considerable amount of weight. So she can be the Hollywood starlet that she's always wanted to be. So yeah, there you have it. There's Harry, mom. I don't know. Who is the other girl? Is that a sister or something like that? But yeah, that's it. Oh, is Special K on? Special K thoughts? Is she on? Because she hasn't been on for a minute. Let me see. Okay. Oh no, I don't think she's on today. That's too bad. Okay. So there you have it. Any comments? Let me see here. LDSW says, I'm sitting here wondering and hoping that someone nominates Spare for the Nobel Prize in Literature. The book provides important insight into life, psychology, and personal relationship. Is that the one that they call the laureate, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate? Is that for literature? Well, either way, I hope that does happen. That would be a great thing and well deserved, I might add. And, and not just because it's Harry, but let's just on the weight of what the book has done thus far, and what it continues to do for people who have faced some of the worst crises in life, and that is, of course, the grief of a child, grieving a parent that they lost suddenly and mysteriously in a tunnel in Paris. Yeah, I think it well warrants that. So, and it's a great book. It really is great. And if you guys haven't not had your opportunity, it was wonderful. It was everything that people have said and then some. And did you guys see when Harry said that he someone had mentioned to him that he should read the comments. I believe it's over 55,000 comments on the Amazon review of his book. I believe they said there's some 55,000 comments. And he said someone very close to him had advised him to read those comments. And it makes me want to look at them myself. But imagine that. Imagine, being able to go through those comments like that. And I think I'm going to go and take a look right now. I'm going to take a look right now because now I am curious. Let me see. Spare. I'm going to see if I can find the count for the comments. 60,500. 60,500. 75% of them are 5-star. 14% is 4 stars. 3% is 3 stars is 6%. 2 stars is a whopping 2%, and 1 star is 3%. So yeah, there you go. 60,500 comments. And he said that some of the comments were in essay form. Did you guys hear him say that? He said that the comments are like little essays, that there's these long paragraphs that people have written about Spare. So that does kind of make you want to go and take a look, doesn't it? I'm going to tell you, one of the best reviews I ever seen for Spare was Jael's review. I watched her channel. By the way, you guys, she does have a channel. I watched her channel, and she gave a very, very good review of Spare. It was so good that I couldn't pull myself away from it. So thank you very much for that. So yeah, I did the 5-star. Fives. Let me drink some water. Okay. Yeah, so I did my review also. Okay. Any other points from the conversation that you guys recall? Lorna Williams, I saw that. I was going to talk about that later, but I did see that about Buckingham Palace. Thank you for sharing that. Let me see. Okay. Let me get out of that and go back here. Let me see here. So ADHD, they spoke about the psychotropics that Harry used, and Harry stressed that you should do that with someone very, reliable. He said, we are connected by trauma, apparently, or at least 99% of us, 99.9% of us have experienced some form of trauma, meaning everyone. And not all trauma has to do with war or, it doesn't necessarily have to do with the death of someone. Trauma can be turning 40. You ever hear the midlife crisis? When you reach a certain point and certain things may or may not have happened, that can be very traumatic to some people. I know it was for me. So people experience trauma in very different ways for very different reasons. Let me see. Marshar says, my comment about Spares on Amazon was easy, in essay form, should I say. Amazon actually sent me an email to let me know that I got likes on my comment. Wow, that is very, very cool. Congratulations. Super, super impressive. Also, Harry needs a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Oh, yes. Wouldn't that eat them up, wouldn't they? And so what's her name? Angela Levin will be convinced that the star has a camera in it, just like Archie's juice box. Archie was recording the Queen with his juice box camera. Cue juice box cam. Okay, so there's another image from their session. And remember, you guys, there is not supposed to be any recording of this session, but yet some media outlets decided to break that rule. There's Harry away at boarding school, looking quite dapper, I might add. And then, of course, there is a portrait of Harry and his brother. And because I love the portrait so much, and because I love Harry so much, you can see what I've done with the portrait, right? Right. I decided that there was no need for that waste of space and opportunity called William. So I just cut him out of it. As a matter of fact, yeah, I just cut him out of it. Let me see here. Okay, so aside from that, so I'm waiting for you guys to share some. I mean, there had to be something with Dr. Mate that really stuck out. Anything? Yeah, I don't want you guys to walk away from today, and the only thing that you recall is that I mentioned Archie's juice box had a camera in it. That would break my heart, actually. So, oh yeah, and so let me share this with you. There's Dr. Mate. I believe he said he's 79 years old, and I think they live in Canada, right? And he's authored a few books, and there's his wife. I think they're absolutely lovely. Now, one of the things, oh, and by the way, you guys, if you want a great point by point of today's video from the squatty point of view, I'm going to tell you where I have found some inspiration. Anita of My Duke and I, she actually took a very what do you call it, precise, she took notes. I'll just say that she took notes, and I'm trying to find her link. But Anita of My Duke and I, she was absolutely fabulous. Oh my God, this computer. Let me see. I'm gonna get it off the old computer, new computer. What's so cool is that the cursor, the arrow from the both computers, I can move from one screen to the other without even switching to the other keyboard, which is awesome. But yeah, let me find Anita's link. I didn't finish watching it, but it was very good. And you guys, you know how passionate Anita is. So considering that, you know, it was awesome. Okay. Give me just a second. I will find the link. She was on 3 hours ago, by the way. So he said that. Okay. And oh, thank you, Church Nelly. All that hemming and hawing I was doing, and you've gotten it already. Let me see here. Let me see here. Oh, you guys, I love this new computer. It is so fast. Okay, I'm gonna have to start doing the show over here because It's really, really good. Uh, okay, church, give me a second. I'm so sorry about this. I mean, so fast that it's outpacing me, and that's actually pretty easy. Let me see here. I hope this is it. There it is. It's at the top of the chat. That is my Duke and I. Um, there you go. There you go. So um, that is and listen, you guys, don't just go over there and watch it. Please go over there and like and share and make sure you subscribe. Anita works so hard. And one of the reasons why I love to tell you guys about alternative channels is because you, not you, but I'm saying when you see someone that's working so hard for our community, I just hate if they're not getting enough recognition for that. So please support all of our Sussex friendly channels. Oh, and let's see, Claire Kane was on today. Claire Kane was on today. I'm going to share that one. Let me do that right now. I'm going to share Claire Kane again. Make sure. Oh, and Thrive with Harry and Meghan was on, right? So, and Celibacy. I listened to Celibacy earlier, and Duchess of Impact. Okay, I tell you what, I will share those later on the community tab, but just please promise me that you guys will go over there and check out these other Sussex friendly channels. Can you do that, please? Greatly appreciate it. All right. Oh, sorry, you guys. I'm just I'm here. I'm here. Maybe I got baby brain. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm suffering from baby brain. Lisa Cook, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Oh, Jael says, I'm watching all these channels. They are great. Thank you so much. And your channel is great. You guys, if you do crafts or have hobbies or you like antiquing, I'm telling you, you won't be sorry. And she has the most beautiful French accent. And I felt, especially when that night I found your channel, you actually told me you had a channel, and I went and found it, and I started listening, and I had stuff I was working on, and I just relaxed and listened to you, and then I went and found another video, and it was bliss. Yes, an official Lauren Brown. I promise, Church Nelly, I'm going to put all of those. I need to just, but I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to list these channels. And if you guys can grab the channels from here, gravy. If not, I will put them on the community tab. But please do like, share, and subscribe. Okay, you guys, let me see here. Let me just go through the other few photos I had here. And then I think we're going to call it a night. Oh, okay. I can see how you're acting. Yeah, my old favorite computer is getting a bit glitchy, and it might be time to put it out to the pasture. But I hate to do that because I love this thing. But you know how it is. Uncle Joe is moving kind of slow at the junction, Petticoat Junction. There's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction, Petticoat Junction. Oh man. Oh wait, that ain't what I meant to do. Oh, wait a minute. Am I able to do that? Oh, okay, I guess not. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, you guys. So please get your last comments together. Um, do I? Do I still have? I don't think so. Do I? No. No, I don't think so. Let me see here. Oh, you mean is that why I'm so distracted? Maybe, just maybe, but no, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Okay. All right. Yes, I'm subscribed to all those channels. Very good. All right. So with that, you guys, let me just take a look at the last. I'm going to go through my slides, even though. All right. So I had that. That was just a little backdrop for the discussion. Harry did mention the fact that, well, actually, Dr. Mate mentioned the fact that Harry came from a household where there was no love between the parents. Harry said that he was going to make sure that all of the affection that that was missing from his childhood, like for instance the way his father came and told him about his mother, and he was so emotional he actually put his hand on Harry's knee. My darling boy, something terrible has happened. And that was about the end of it. And he doesn't want that for his children. He wants his children to grow up loved. And I like when Harry said that when the children go through a tough time, that they have a rule that when the children need to sort things out, if they're having a tough time, you don't just jump in and get involved. You let the children have their moment and then ask them, how can you, how do you want to fix that? But in other words, not over pampering the children, not trying to solve their problems, not trying to kiss every hurt away, but that they want their children to grow up to be problem solvers, to solve their own problems, to work their way through things, without smothering them or telling them to be quiet, or if they're crying, let them get it out of their system, that kind of thing. I thought that was very nice. I have no doubt that the Sussexes are going to be like two of the best parents ever. And wait, Black Queen has a channel? What? I didn't know that. Black Queen has a channel. Shut the front door. I gotta see that. What? Are there any videos? Or you just made one? Church Nelly, I know it's after 6 o'clock. I know it's after 6 o'clock, but what is you doing? Huh? What is you doing? I know it's after 6 o'clock, but I just checked out Black Queen's channel and I don't see any videos on there just yet. But anyway, okay. Time to put the stopper back on. Oh man. I just checked. I mean, it seems that it is, but I clicked that link. The British media is smearing Dr. Mate, calling him anti-Semitic and a Hamas supporter. Well, that's very strange because Dr. Mate is Jewish, I believe. And yeah, I believe he's Jewish. I think he is. But, Ginger Lily, I saw that and it's what I expect. Dr. Mate has a certain outlook on the way um, he views the world. He's anti-war, obviously, and a few other things. And as I said so many times, anytime something has to do with the Sussexes, we kind of hold our breath and wait for them to write the headlines. So, but yeah, thank you for sharing that. I did see it, but I was amazed. After I watched it, I went to go and see exactly what the fallout was. Well, you know what? There was plenty of fallout. As per usual, the tabloid media, they were actually mobilizing against today's video with Harry and Dr. Mate. They actually mobilized like multiple writers with multiple stories right along with Harry and Dr. Mate. Like by the time I looked at the Daily Fail, they had maybe seven articles while Harry was still on. I repeat, it had to be more than seven of them just from the Daily Fail. They were quite organized with their critique of the session with Dr. Mate. So, what do you expect? You know? Okay. Well, anyway, thank you so much, Ginger Lily, and thank you for sharing that information. Greatly appreciated, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. So, Black Queen says, not really, Baron, just did that to upload a video from Lambert in regards to the Sussexes and World Central Kitchen. Really? Okay. Let me see, is it a minute long? Okay, I see that. All right, thank you so much for that. Yeah. Okay, you guys, I think we're good. And let me see, I had those. Here's Harry walking in his mother's footsteps, carrying on her legacy with the Halo Trust, among other things. There's that very haunting image of the two of them. And of course, this is that hostel, which is like it's like a shelter and a community center. Well, there is Princess Diana on that staircase, and years later, recreating that scene that is not scene, recreating that scene, there goes Harry standing on that very same staircase. So cool. Huh? How about that? Love that. I wonder if there's anybody from that original photo there. I don't think so. I think those are all different people now. Okay. Well, yeah, there you go. Harry walking in mom's shoes. And of course, the Diana Award. There's Harry leading the little pony. And there's that little sniveling weakling brother of his, riding the pony. Okay. And who can forget that when Harry started this whole thing, he said, I'm writing this not as the prince I was born, but as the man I have become. And of course, Dr. Shola, beautiful. Anyone watching this knows that the child feels safe and loved in Diana's warm embrace. This is how a queen should be. What a loss to humanity. Well, this is actually a kid who was trying to build up the courage, to go and give Diana a hug. And so he ran over there. And after she embraced him, he fell back against the car and he just put his hands on his chest, amazed at how good that felt to actually get that close to her. I thought that was so beautiful. I couldn't share the video, so I just did a collection of slides, but I love that moment. I think Dr. Scholler had shared the video a long time ago. So Harry's coronation truce. Now, I'm going to talk about this. Yes, Lydia, I actually did have this set aside. So why don't we get into it? I'll stay on a little longer. So Harry's coronation truce. Harry was offered an olive branch, according to the British tabloid media. According to the British tabloid media, the Mail on Sunday exclusive, King Charles will offer Prince Harry and Meghan a Buckingham Palace apartment when they visit the UK in Olive Branch after kicking them out of Frogmore. So, oh God, what is that man up to? What is he up to? He and the courtiers. What are they trying to pull? So I guess there must have been a bit of backlash because of all of the stuff that happened, with the eviction, as they call it, the eviction. And so to try to make himself look good and to try to save face, it seems like Charles is trying to offer an alternative. The whole Church Nelly. Oh, you know what? I moved the microphone so far away from me. I'm so sorry about that. Do you know the microphone was actually over my shoulder? And I just noticed Church Nelly's one finger salute. And that's when I noticed it. Lord have mercy. Anyway, sorry about that. Daniel Medical, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Saturday to you. But yeah, I just noticed Church Nelly's salute, and that's what made me realize that the microphone was over my shoulder instead of in front of me. But I was, I raised my desk. I had a standing desk, and I needed to stand, so I moved it. Let's see. What truth, says CR? Why step away? His home. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Why strap away his home? Strap away his home that he pays for instead of giving him an apartment where where every move will be watched, controlled, and reported upon. Harry shouldn't go. Well, there is I believe I heard a figure of 700 and I forget 778 rooms in the Buckingham Palace, and out of that, there's got to be at least 50 or more bedrooms. There's nothing but room there. It's more like a hotel and an office building. Seriously, you could literally run a government from Buckingham Palace alone. There's plenty of space there. But as in regards to your comment there, they would be watched. As a matter of fact, they may be the ones to put a camera in Archie's juice box. All of a sudden, Archie would be sitting up there and they'll say, Master Archie, someone sent you a juice box. That just happens to have a camera in it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know if I would trust that. Yeah, and then you never know. Eamon Holmes might be waiting outside the balcony for Harry, hoping Harry will come outside for a minute or two. Eamon Holmes might be waiting for him on the balcony. You never know. Thank you, Church Nelly. Thank you for always saying what other people are thinking. Let me see. Tisa Tales was trying to figure out Chuck's mess. Also, Baron. Thank you. I'm going to have to check out. You know what? I haven't been watching Tisa Tales, but I guess I should. I've been trying to keep up. with a lot of the smaller channels because, I feel like, as I say, I want to see a lot of these smaller channels grow because it's a lot of work that goes into making these videos. It's a lot of work in doing a live. And for me to prepare for a live, sometimes I can spend 8 hours, including the time that I'm on. I can spend 8 hours, not all the time, but up to that point. So, let's help these channels grow. And then, when something really does happen that, like with the Queen's funeral, there were a lot of people that actually found these channels because they were available. So that's why we need to nurture all of the channels so that when something like that happens, people who are looking for something besides the Royal Roaders point of view, I don't know how many people said that they found Royal Sussex during the Queen's funeral. So that lets you know if that happened with Royal Sussex, that happened with quite a few channels. I think from the Queen's funeral, Royal Sussex grew about 10,000 new subscribers. So that gives you an idea. So that's why we need to make sure we support the other guys. Let me see here. Ruth Lopez says Chuck only pretended to offer an apartment at KP because he knew they would decline the fake offer. Well, Celibici spoke about that earlier, you guys. And they mentioned the fact that they have that huge apartment at Kensington Palace. They have the Adelaide Cottage. And I think it was Kaiser, maybe. But if you guys aren't familiar with Celibici, they only come on Saturdays and not every Saturday. But God, they are so funny and very clever. Well, they were saying that Adelaide Cottage was only interesting once the Sussexes brought it up. Then all of a sudden, everybody in the family couldn't wait to get to Adelaide Cottage. And the millions that, and I'm going to tell you guys, the Cambridges spent millions of taxpayers' money on Admiral Hall, including, I think the driveway was £2 million. They did something to the driveway which cost a boatload of money. They evicted the family that had lived there for years just so that they could take it. And then, okay, so they got that for the weekends. They got Kensington Palace for other days. And now Adelaide Cottage and a place up in Scotland. And of course, don't forget, William spent a lot of his time at his mother and father-in-law's house, at his in-laws' house. He spent a lot of time there too. So, and the Sussexes couldn't even have the servant quarters with peace of mind. So they didn't want them to have Adelaide Cottage. They really didn't want them to have the Frogmore. They didn't want them to have Frogmore. Leg says, why would they stay at a place where the courtier staff will make up stories and know where to find them? Anyone else see how much Andy pays versus Harry and Meghan? Yeah, Andrew pays about £1,000 a month for the Royal Lodge. £1,000 a month. In comparison to the Sussexes, let me see. I think it was, I forgot the figure was, but oh man, was it 18,000? No, that's wrong. Yeah, it may have been 18,000. 18,000 a month was what they were supposed to pay for the Frogmore Cottage, something like that. I know it was a pretty high number. Because if you think about it, if somebody cares to do the math, 2.4 million pounds in 12 years to pay it back. I think that was 18,000 pounds a month, something like that. But and so the Sussexes were given a monthly payment plan, and Harry was like, you know what? We got the money. Here's the check. Have a good day. So it's not like they they were not supposed to pay for it all at once. But part of the agreement when they left is that they would reimburse the Crown Estate for the renovations. Now listen to this carefully. Reimburse the Crown Estate for the renovations that were already scheduled to happen because the place was falling apart. And part of the duty of the royal estate is to maintain the upkeep of the royal households, whether or not the house is rented to a member of the public, whether it's grace or favor to a courtier or staff member, or whether the house is totally unoccupied. It does not matter. They have to keep it up. So the managers of that property had already requested money before this revelation about the Sussexes moving in, when the Queen supposedly gave them that as a wedding gift. And so it was already destined for refurbishment. And so while they were at it, the Sussexes put their own little personal touches onto the property. Amen. And so for months, especially if you guys are new to the squad or if you haven't seen this before, while Meghan was heavily pregnant, for months and months and months before and after the birth of Archie, there was one story after the other where they were super critical about everything to do with that house and making up stories about all kind of things to do with that house. And one of the worst things about living at Frogmore didn't even concern the house itself. I'm sure you all remember that story where a very well-meaning person within the royal staff, and I do believe this person was trying to be helpful, said that if you encounter the Sussexes, please do not try to start a conversation. In other words, if you see them around the royal, Windsor Great Park or whatever, do not get all up in their business. Not, the Sussexes never said that, but I think somebody was just trying to say, you know, I know you mean well, but just give them some room, right? And so the press got a hold of this information and they said that, well, anyway, by the time it filtered down, they had accused Meghan of wanting to be left alone. And Meghan said, don't you dare approach us. They had no knowledge of that. It started one way, and by the time the tabloids got, and this again, this is while the Sussexes were either waiting for the birth of Archie or just after Archie's birth. I believe it was maybe before that. And so this is the kind of things that was filling up the tabloids, one story after the other, several stories in one day. Doria's moving in. Doria's going to take care of the baby. All of that kind of stuff. They're going to add a wing to the house for Doria. All of those things. Doria had no intentions of moving to the UK. She has a life of her own, but it didn't matter. Because she's Black, she's trying to get something for nothing. She's trying to move in on our action, and especially around the time of all the Brexit, stuff that was going on. it just, we cannot forget that part of the problems was not just, Meghan the outsider. It was because the cultural war that was being fought included Brexit, or Brexit was a result of that, and that it was just too good to resist that you can have this outsider and this woman of color who somehow um, checks every box when it comes to people coming to this island and taking our stuff. She took our prince. She's living off the public purse. We paid for the wedding. All of those things were at play. I mean, just recently they had a, what was that? Where was that at? Where they had the big crowd of people that stormed a hotel because of all of the so-called boat people that were staying there. It just gives you an idea of the mentality of the way the tabloids behave, the mentality of some of the people that read it, and even worse, believe it. Thank you so much, Legs. Let me see here. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. That was my thought, that Charles would give Harry and Meghan a better place for them to live in the UK. Security. Thank you, Mimi D. Security is the most important thing for them. I don't think they, they just want the kids safe, and I'm sure they want to be safe. But that's the main thing. Wherever they stay, they want to be safe, and they don't want to be under the prying eyes of some courtiers or something like that. If you guys recall from the book, Harry, when they went to Sandringham, they put Harry in the servant quarters at Sandringham. I'm talking about when they had like a Christmas party, because Sandringham is not a very large property, although it is big enough for several families. But when they have the Christmas at Sandringham, they have to pack them in, and that means that even Harry had to not share a room, but they put him in a room of his own, a room that was a servant's quarters, because the place is packed. It's full of servants, is full of royals. And so so that place was packed at the time. But that's the problem, is that you have servants around. There's always going to be someone around. There's always, and like Kensington Palace, if you guys remember from The Crown, they say that, and also I've heard it said in interviews where they say when you're at Kensington Palace, every time you leave the house, the curtains start moving, the drapes start swinging, because there's always somebody looking out, minding your business and gossiping. And worst of worst, you guys, worst of worst, oh my God, I hate to say this, but did you guys know that Harry said that at one time, Nottingham Cottage had a much larger garden, right? But that the garden was made smaller because on the other side of the wall, the Princess Michael of Kent had actually expanded her garden. I guess she must have gotten permission for it. But Harry said when they were a kid, they were able to go over there and play, but they couldn't go and play anymore because they had put a wall up. And so Meghan's like, well, whose garden is it? Princess Michael of Kent. And that's the one who met Meghan for the first time wearing that Blackamoor brooch, that very racist piece of jewelry. That's whose garden it was. So yeah, they don't need to go and stay at another royal household. Thank you, Nafisa. Nafisa Shabazz says, bugged apartment. You got that right. According to the British media, Prince Andrew was reportedly told friends that he has no intentions of leaving Windsor Estate after signing a £250 a week lease for 75 years. Good luck, Fred. Well, again, £1,000 a month with security, a swimming pool. Celebici was talking about that. That's where I got the price from. They said he pays £1,000 a month, and most poor people, or should I say, working class people, could not find a flat in central London for £1,000 a month, as lavish as his home. Well, you know what I'm saying. They would be lucky to find something like that. So the Royals do pay rent, but they don't pay the market rate. None of them pay a market rate except for the Sussexes. I'm pretty sure that if they were paying £18,000 a month, that is more than adequate for. But they didn't expect them to pay it. They didn't expect them to be able to pay it off anyway. And then I forgot who said it. Was it? Oh my goodness, who said this? But someone was saying that the lease that they gave Harry was just long enough for the Cambridge kids to grow up and to start going on these royal duties themselves. And at that point, they would have probably cut Harry loose anyway. Harry would have been restricted to doing the kind of stuff that the Duke of Gloucester does right now, opening supermarkets, going to funerals, and all that kind of stuff for nobodies, unknown people, going to funerals for a long-term housekeeper of the family who retired 20 years ago. That's what they would have probably had Harry doing. He wouldn't have had the high-profile stuff to do anymore because that stuff would have gone to the Cambridge kids. So by the time he paid the lease off, there wouldn't have been much for him to do. They would have outsourced those things to the Cambridge kids. And Harry would, at that point, they probably would have kicked him out of the Frogmore. Him and his family would have had to go find someplace else to live. I think that sounds about right. That was the plan. The plan was, okay. It wasn't 18, it was £12,000 a month. Thank you so much, Lane Parker. So £12,000 a month for Frogmore compared to, what is it, 75 acres of the Royal Lodge. The Royal Lodge is huge. They may as well call it a palace, but the Royal Lodge is huge. Okay, thank you so much. So let me get my calculator. That's 12,000. 12,000 times 12. Okay, so that's what is that? 144,000 a year times 12. That's 1.728 million pounds. So, okay, so 12. Well, I thought it was something different, but maybe. I just know that I heard someone say that they had about a 12-year lease, and by the time that lease was done, so were they. So I guess the 2.4 million, that is the renovation plus the rent. Okay, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that was the renovation plus the rent. Okay. Not really sure, but thank you so much, Elaine Parker. Always helpful. So Royal Lodge for £1,000 a month compared to 12. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute, that's 1,000 pounds a month compared to 12,000 pounds a month. That's still a lot of money. Good God. That's a lot of money. That's like renting a Hollywood mansion. Oh, thank you, Cookies and Cream. People Magazine has a very nice article about Prince Harry's discussion with Dr. Mate. The squad should get the article trending on social media before the lying racist tabloids start their idiocy. Thank you so much, Cookies and Cream. Very, very helpful. Yes, she does have a large platform. She does. I think she has, what, 120,000 subscribers? I know she has over 100,000 now. No easy task, I tell you, but she's put in the work. She has put in the work. You have to be consistent. That is the first thing you have to do to make your channel successful, is you have to be consistent. Without that consistency, I watched like a lot of those how-to channels, and it's and I go through this myself sometime, where people don't want to call me because they're like, "Oh, well, what time are you going on? Oh, I thought you would be on. You haven't been on already?" But for me, because of I'm going to say the creative process, because I consider myself an artist. When I do things, I have to do it when the mood strikes me. I can't just, I have a storyline in my head, and that is what I commit to what I do. And some of the narratives are pretty spontaneous, and then others, while I'm putting things together, I'm sitting up here laughing like somebody's telling it to me. But that's the way I work. So. But yeah, it does take a lot, but the reward is when everything goes right, it goes right, and you feel very good about the reach, and of course, especially if it helps people, that's a good thing. So yeah, all of that ties into it. Let me see here. Marjorie says, this Mail on Sunday article sounds like a bad joke. Isn't Chucky not upset about Spare? UK polls fooled them into believing that Harry and Meghan don't have global ratings, but Chucky plan backfired. They got to have them at the what do you call it? I was going to say indoctrination. They have to have them at the indoctrination, when they will find a bunch of new cultists to follow them. They have to have them there, because otherwise it is going to be very uneventful. All of the drama, as horrible as it is, they need this drama to get people to watch. Thank you so much for your comment. But they need it, because if they don't have it, nobody's going to be interested. I mean, the Queen's funeral struggled. The Queen's funeral struggled. All I heard people say was how long it is. And the other thing I heard people say is, well, what did she do for 70 years? And lastly, I heard people say, wait a minute, didn't they just leave a funeral? Remember when they got to St. George Chapel and they had a whole nother funeral? And people were like, didn't they just leave a funeral? Do you know how many people dropped off after Westminster Abbey? A lot of people dropped off. A lot of people were just like, okay. And then they'll go to the store and come back, and it's still a funeral. They go to bed and wake up, and there's still a funeral. Not exactly the big ratings hit that they would lead people to believe it was. Okay. The stepkids, yeah. Well, and wasn't there an article that said that what is it that Tom Parker Bowles is supposed to be the new Prince Harry, that he's supposed to have all the charisma. that Camilla's son is supposed to have all the charisma and all of the excitement of a Prince Harry. I think that that's what they were saying, is that Tom Parker Bowles is supposed. Oh, anyway, before I forget, you guys, Kylie Minogue refuses to star at the King Charles Coronation concert because of growing Republican sentiments in Australia. Yeah, so Kylie said no. Of course, Australian Republic didn't mean that they want to be independent of the crown, but doesn't necessarily mean conservative. And in some cases, it probably means the opposite. But yeah, because of that growing sentiment of republicanism in Australia, she just can't. I mean, she just can't be bothered. So add her to the list, the growing list of people who got a thing on Coronation Day. She should have said, I'm going to Archie's party. Baron, they want to make sure Harry and Meghan don't give Prince Archie a party as they did with Princess Elizabeth during the Jubilee. Well, I mean, the party's going to be private, though, so I doubt if it'll make much of a difference. I think if the party was telecast or something, I would think that would probably mean something more. But we don't have any photos of Archie's party. At least by the time we saw them, it was a long time later on the docuseries. So I don't think that would have much of an effect. And plus, Archie's a kid. They could have his party the day before or even the day after. They can have something small that day with just the family, and something bigger at any given time that week. So I don't think it would be any type of reflection on his party, but you never know. They may want them so distracted that they can't have a party by having them there, just to be spiteful. But I just kind of doubt that one. But thank you for sharing, and thank you for the super chat. Let me see. So, you guys, I think that was it. That was the last thing I had, was the Kylie Minogue. Lauren Brown is here. Hey, official Lauren Brown. Yeah, I know that that's true, that he got the mother of all deals. Well, after all, they said he was the favorite of the sovereign, the queen, that is. So I'm guessing that was true, that he probably got off at a very low price. Oh, that sounds weird, doesn't it? He got off at a low price. Leg says overcharging them was another way to drain them. Exactly. Exactly. Because they didn't expect that they would be able to pay it anyway. I'm assuming that part of that 2.4 million pounds was rent and renovation. It may have, because I believe that what they were supposed to pay for was any of the fixtures, any of the conveniences that they personally wanted for the house, right? And that the other stuff came out of the public purse. And what they were asking Harry to pay for was to pay for his stuff and what was planned in the first place. I think so. I don't know what the breakdown is. I've never seen an actual explanation for 2.4 million pounds. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, boy, with a bunch of comments there, and I missed so many of them. Shelly L, I did see this though. What's going on? They drove that woman around town like she was old luggage. Oh man. Well, thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you for being here. And hey, Shelly L., how are you today? Let's see. I use the term stepkids loosely. They might be Charles's the way he is acting. Well, that's what the word on the street is. The word on the street is that those are his children, and we all know that they are never wrong. They are always right. I trust they, especially when they are saying what I want to hear. I always trust they. Oh boy, my arthritis is kicking up. I think it must be raining outside. I feel Arthur's after me. Let me see here. What? Um right. Right. Yeah, because bankrupt people always give money away. Anybody with any sense would respond to financial trouble by giving away money. Yeah. Bankrupt means that they would probably go and do some of those public speaking engagements, the kind that can pay up to $2 million. That's when you bankrupt. But they wouldn't even have to do anything illegal or immoral. If that was the case, they could just do. But yeah, seeing that that's not true. But yeah, Tom Bauer, he's such a troll. He is such a troll. Let me see. So Lauren Brown, did you have a chance to watch the live thing with Dr. Mate? If you have, I would love to hear your thoughts about it. But if not, but we always love to hear your perspective. And I know you would have some amazing light to shed on it. No pressure. It's Saturday. Let me see here. CR says Tom wants the Sussexes to sue him so bad he simply wants to get the discovery process so he can see their private banking information. Ooh, CR, you are good. You are good. I wouldn't have never thought about that. I wouldn't have thought about that. That is incredible. Thank you so much for that. Marshall is going way old school. Mama's baby is daddy's maybe. Oh no. Okay, I don't think you'll be able to watch it though because they asked that nobody record it. But if you are able to find it, then sure, that would be a good idea. Would like to see it again myself. Honestly, I think I missed the first 30 minutes because I slept through. When I woke up, it was, oh my goodness, what time was it? It started 12 o'clock Eastern, so it was 11:20 here. Oh God, did I sleep well last night? And so by the time I got logged in, it took about another 10 minutes. Yeah, so I'm sure I missed like the first 30. But yeah, I was working on a project last night. When you return a computer, they expect you to erase all of your information off of it. And so I did, and then I felt insecure, like I didn't do it right. And so I was on the phone with Apple, and then this morning I called them back again, and I'm just like, hey, are you sure my computer is erased? because I have some photographs that are very personal to me, especially from my career where I crisscrossed the country as a male exotic dancer by the name of Chocolate Thunder. And she said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure you erased it." I'm like, "Okay, I'm putting it in the box. I'm sending it off." So yeah, and then I had to take it to FedEx, drop it off. But as a prominent uh, exotic dancer who specializes in um, what is it? Uh, chubby, chubby. What is it? Chubby chase? Yeah, chubby chasers. Um, I mean, for the right price, anyone can have these mountains of flesh on their stage. Um, what do you call it? Hen party, stag parties, whatever. Um, all of this could be yours if the price is right. Uh, okay. All right. Yeah. So I should probably get off of here because I'm starting to get a little punchy. Um, but yeah, so I returned the old computer. The new computer is here and I'm enjoying it. It's very fast and I just have to get used to not using the big computer. Aren't those first world troubles? My old computer, um, 27-inch screen is slow. So I bought a new one that was 13 inches. That was too small. So I replaced it with a 16-inch computer that is much faster. Now, those are first world problems. I should be ashamed of myself. But I need these computers for Royal Sussex. So I sent the 13-inch back. Oh yeah, the Coronation concert. I didn't think about that. Do you wanna funk with me? Let me show you how. Do you wanna funk? Let me show you how. Do you wanna funk with me? Do you wanna funk with me? No. Do you wanna funk? Let me show you how. Oh man. Sylvester was getting it, wasn't he? Let me see. Celia says, Baron, I'm going to use a big word on you. Stop. Propagate, propagate, prevaricating. What is that? Prevaricating. What is that? I'm getting a headache. What is that? Prevaricating. Prevaricating. What in the world is that? Is it contagious? Because I might have had that back in the 80s. Can you treat that with penicillin? Because if you can, I may have had that back in the 80s. Yeah, I think that was something I had back in the 80s. It goes away. Oh man. Yeah, if you put enough penicillin on it, it goes away. Prevarica. What is that? Prevaricate. What is that? Oh, okay. Whatever that is means you're lying. Okay. Well, you wait until those videos surface of me taking the stage. You'll see. Baron, you missed that Legs has a PhD in chemistry. Dr. Legs is in the house. Really? No wonder we got the information about heavy water so quickly. Well, that explains it. Wow, that is very, very impressive. I'm so proud. I like that. You mean to tell me that somebody with a big education is listening to Royal Sussex? That is wonderful. Oh man, I hope none of me rubs off on you. I would hate for you to be in a academic setting and then suddenly find yourself unable to pronounce certain words because you have been listening to Royal Sussex. Now that would be a disaster. But thank you so much for that, Black Queen, and thank you for the super chat, Dr. Legs. Very cool. Let me see here. Let me see. Marshall says, why do that to Baron? His big word pronouncing is like his French. I know. Very, what do you call it? Very thorough. And what's the other word I'm looking for? Nope, that's not it. But yes, it is like my French. It's developing. It's seen better days. Let me see. Okay, and Myra says, Baron, I heard that Charles is removing Harry's residence for him to lose his position as monarch's counsel. So now is Anne, Andrew, Edward, William, and don't forget Camilla, and Kate. I believe Camilla and Kate are both councils of state. Yeah, because they made a big deal about that. But I believe Camilla and Kate have become councils of state. And as impressive as that may be for some people, the what is that position? The governor general, where the Commonwealth is concerned, someone who can execute the duties for the monarch in the absence of the sovereign or whatever. So there's other variations of people acting on authority of the sovereign, but it's just an honorary position. Very rarely is it ever used. But if people are interested in certain titles, I guess that would be impressive. But anyway, thank you for sharing that. Let me see. What? The Sussexes confirmed that they received an invitation to the coronation? I haven't heard that. That's interesting, though. I have not heard that. But I will check it out. What? You too? They received it? Wait a minute. Is that trending right now and I just don't know it? Or should I say, should I add this to another list of things that are happening and I just don't know it? I mean, there's quite a few things that's happening. Like I can remember that time when I went on vacation and the landlord had slipped a piece of paper under my door and I didn't read it for a couple of weeks. And guess what it said? We are converting your apartment into a condominium. Have a good day. Took me a couple of weeks. I was sitting up there thinking, I really love this place. I'm gonna paint. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna paint this place. I really love it here. I don't ever want to move. And it took me a couple of weeks before I realized that piece of paper that they slid under the door was, informing me that that they were going to take the apartment building condo. So there's a lot of things that I miss. And you know what? It was nice when I was younger because when I was young, I was cute. And when I was cute, people would say, you know what? He's so cute. Who cares? Now that I'm old and longer tooth and actually what few teeth I have left, is not as adorable as it was in the past. But thank you so much for that. Wow, this is like confession time, isn't it? Okay, so I'm looking, but I don't see that. But I take your word for it. I was hoping I could find it myself, but King's Palace Olive Branch. Okay, I see that, but I still don't see anything about an invitation. Well, I guess it was bound to happen, and like I just said not long ago, they really do need the Sussexes there. It really won't be a party without them. So if they, if they know what's good for them, they would invite them just to make the party interesting. But it doesn't mean that they're going to go. It just really is a sign of their desperation. So I hope they don't go either, because they need the Sussexes more than the Sussexes need them. Huh. I wonder if they were waiting for Harry to finish his conversation with Dr. Mate before they decided to offer the invitation to him. Wow. Huh. Okay. All right. All right. Let me see here. Well, yeah, I'm still looking, but I don't see anything. Let me go to the Twitter streets and see what's on Twitter, because the Twitter streets will have it. Huh. Oh well. All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much. I did not realize. Wait, Dr. Crystal Fleming has officially declined to perform at the King's Court. Who is Dr. Fleming? Who's wait? Yeah, who is Crystal Fleming? But they say Dr. Crystal Fleming has officially declined to perform. She's a black woman. I don't know who she is, but she's a black woman, and she has a blue check mark. But apparently, Dr. Fleming's a black woman has has declined the King's invitation. Refused to. Oh, okay. It says here, refused to perform at Coronation. Author, editor of 4 books, including How to Be Less Stupid About Race. Wow. Wow. I mean, she posted this herself. That's interesting. Dr. Fleming, come on. Okay, let me see what y'all saying here. I still cannot say it. Prevaricating. Prevaricating. Is that right? Prevaricating? Well, if you break it up like that, it makes sense. I never heard that before. Prevaricating. Am I saying it right? Prevaricating. That's interesting. I heard obfuscating. That's when you're trying to delay talking about something, right? Oh well. Okay, Shelly L says, "Hey Baron, as you can see, we're not ready to delay." I hadn't noticed. But thank you so much for the super chat. But I want to see this invitation thing. Let me see here. Oh well. You guys, let me tell you what I did last night since we're all here together. I have been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because, as you know, everything is so much more expensive. I ordered sushi last night. I mean, it was so much sushi. I ate on it. let me see. I had it for dinner. I had it for a snack, and then when I woke up at about 11, oh gosh, what was the time? I woke up about 11:20, and then I had that for lunch. I guess I didn't have breakfast. I had that for lunch, and then I ate the rest of it like just before I came on. So um, it was satisfying. I'll just say that it was satisfying. I stopped eating it because, with everything being so expensive, but I said, you know what? You know what? Just have the sushi. So I did, and it was so, so good. It was like better than I remembered. And even the last bite, I just closed my eyes and started patting my hands on the table. That's how good it was. So that was the thing I did for myself. Prefabricating. What is prefabricating? What is that? Prefabricating? What is that? Prefabricating. Oh, it is pre. Wait a minute. That's not the word. Wait a minute. What's the? I thought it had a V in it. Is prefabricating. Okay, fabrication is when you make up something. Okay, I got it now. Fabricating. All right. Then why did that look so weird earlier? It's prefabricating. Okay. Thank you, Lorna Williams. See, I got that. I got that. Lex says they want people of color for entertainment, but don't value us. Amen to that. And I think I owe somebody. Who else do I owe a bell? Shelly L. Thank you so much, both of you. Um, wait a doggone minute. Is prevaricating. How is that different from prefabricating? Prevaricating. Huh. Prevaricating. Yeah, I'm not going to look it up, but it's a weird word. That must be Old English. Speaking of Old English, where's Church Nellie? Right? Speaking of Old English, where's Church Nellie? Uh, or is it Old Granddad? Old English and Old Granddad are both of those alcoholic beverages, but either one. Oh man. Okay, let's see. Lucy Wynn says Baron Dr. Fleming is American and tweeted the palace asked for an explanation. She replied, "No is a complete sentence." Okay, okay. This is embarrassing, isn't it? It's just like the inauguration for Trump. It's got that same energy, and that's what Celibici was saying earlier. It's amazing that a few things I said, our Celibici had the same response to it, which I thought was really cool. I wouldn't mind being in sync with them. Let me see here. If Omich says Harry and Meghan received the invitation, then I'll believe it. Oh, okay, Marshar. Well, Omid usually does get the news before everybody else, or at least it's more believable if he runs it. But looks like Omid had an article in Hopper's Bazaar today. Love and affection while raising Archie and Lilybeth. Did you guys know that? Omid had an article in the Harper's Bazaar. I almost forgot that he ever worked for them because I don't think he does as many articles now that he's on YouTube. Let me see if that is his article. It may not even be his. Oh no, it's not his. It's Quincy Lagarde. Quincy Lagarde. I didn't know they had a sister writing for them. That's cool. Prince Harry says he is prioritizing physical affection while raising his children, Archie and Lilibet. So, that, of course, was in response to the interview today. Oh, it says so right there. During the afternoon spare live stream event, which the Duke of Sussex hosted alongside Dr. Gabor Mate, the royal opened up about his fatherhood and how his own children influenced his decision while parenting his two children with Duchess Meghan. I like her writing already, Duchess Meghan. Okay, at one point in the conversation on living with loss and personal healing, the myth of my normal trauma, illness, and healing in a toxic culture, Arthur referenced a few passages in the memoir where Harry recalls during his childhood when he wished for his father, King Charles, and grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, had been more physically affectionate. The expert then asked the royal how the lack of physical contact has shaped his current parenting styles. And Harry's response is, it leaves me in a position how, as a father, I have two kids of my own, making sure that I smother them with love and affection. Prince Harry said, joking that he doesn't smother them to the point where they're trying to get away. Oh, that's very sweet. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you guys check that out if you. Wow, that's a short article. Is it? No, I guess there's more to it. Oh, no, there's got to be more to it. Anyway, but that's in the Harper's Bazaar today. Okay. All right. Let me see. No, that word is actual. Is an actual word that means to lie. Okay, sounds made up to me. Uh, wait, what is this? A present participle. But wait, a present participle. I may have had that back in the '80s too. I'm not sure. I had all kind of stuff back in the '80s. Like I say, if you give it enough penicillin, it'll go away. But thank you for that, Miss Mac. Let me see. I better stop saying I had that back in the '80s. Uh, oh man, Elaine Parker says I'm old English, and as usual, Black Queen says Omid gets the side eye. Let me see here. Yeah, especially since that last thing he wrote, talking about the Sussexes were shocked. I didn't like that one myself. Him inserting all those feelings for the Sussexes, that was a little tacky. Let me see here. I did not see it. I was saying that it was in the chat. I will check. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay. So that's what people are saying. Well, it may very well have happened, and we might find out later that it has. Because the countdown is, if they're going to place people, if they're going to place people, now is the time. Actually, a month ago was the time to start sorting that stuff out. So I don't think it would be unusual for them to start placing people, with the seating chart and everything. They should have started that a while ago. So it may very well be true. They need to know. They need their RSVP or RESPECT soon. Uh, okay, there's another a side eye for Omid Scobie. Oh man. Okay. Parva something means to avoid telling the truth. Okay, exotic dancer. Prefab is to building. Okay, prefabrication is building. I don't know if this is helping the situation at all. Prefabricating is refers to building. Woo! I don't know if this is helping at all, but okay. Uh oh man. Okay, Lauren Brown, if you say so, you'll be amazed. The story in my head, Harry and Meghan sent a picture to Charles III of everyone they invited to perform at the coronation, standing in their backyard eating birthday cake. Woo! I love it. I love it. I'm loving the shade. I love it. Oh yeah, I am loving the shade. Thank you so much, Shelly L, for that. Oh, okay. All right, so you guys, I think that should do it for today. And again, add Kylie Minogue to that list of people that have a thing. Yes, I'm sorry I can't come that day. I have a thing. Yes, I wash my hair on every May the 6th. That's the day I wash my hair. So unfortunately, I won't be able to attend that sordid, ridiculous coronation. So sorry, but yeah, I got a thing. Okay, you guys. So thank you very much. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Thank you for the super chats, the super stickers. If you guys hear anything from Sherry Ware, please let us know because we are very concerned. And Sherry Ware, if you are listening to us, know that we are thinking about you and hope that you are well. And yeah, so that's that. Thank you, official Lauren Brown. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, moderators. Dr. Legs, PhD. Um, uh, Gomer Powell, RFD. um, let me see. All right. So there we go. So anyway, thank you to our queens. Especially our queen in heaven that is watching over, and of course our queen in California who's watching over. All right, and all of the aunties out there praying for the Sussexes, they need our prayers. Don't forget, you guys, that this is Women's History Month, so it's a great time for people to reflect on the contributions of women in our society. At least in the U.S., is Women's History Month. So, yeah, so that's what month it is. All right, and I was looking for my slide for Women's History Month. I don't see it. Let me see. Well, then again, I didn't remember it until the 2nd. So there it is. Okay, March is Women's History Month. So there you go. The sisters are doing it for themselves. And of course, don't forget, you guys, it's also a good time to go back and take another look at archetypes so we can figure out why and how and the way people have defined women from the beginning of time. Let me see. All right, Kim Peaches. I think I'll drink to that myself. Let me see. Joanne Baker says good night. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you, Black Queen, and thank you for all your input and for being a moderator. Okay. Yeah, a room at Buckingham Palace. Well, an apartment. God, wouldn't it be awful if we find out that Charles gave them? Are you guys ready for this? Wouldn't it be weird if Charles gave them Andrew's old apartment at Buckingham Palace? If Charles gave them Andrew's old apartment while he's trying to convince Andrew to move into their old house. Now that just has stalker written all over it. That is shade and stalker written all over it if that were true. And I hope it's not. The whole thing is just, why even bother with all of this nonsense? I mean, if Charles is trying to change the narrative, he's got the worst possible way to go about it. And it's just annoying to me. But anyway, I'm not going to get all riled up with that again. But thank you guys. And I will see you all tomorrow. Love you guys. Thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And I'm going to cue Ginger Avenger. Oh, and our last word of the day is okay, there it is. It's a thumbs up. That's our last word of the day. All right, and good night. That's our last word of the day. And yeah, that's it. That's it. That works for me. Okay, yeah, good night all. That's perfect. Thank you. And cue Ginger Avenger. Do you wanna funk with me? Let me show you how. Do you wanna funk? Let me show you now. Do you wanna funk with me? Do you wanna funk with me? Okay. So nothing to do but to unplug at this point. Yes, I'm not dancing around. I'm just sitting here in the chair. I was looking at some messages on my phone. Oh, wow, did I mess that up? Okay. All right. Good night, you guys.